Today's topic is titled Dividing 3-Digit by 1-Digit Numbers. The objective is I will use the standard algorithm to divide 3-digit numbers by 1-digit numbers. Go ahead and write the title of the notes at the top of your page. We're going to show how to do 3-digit by 1-digit with the following problem. The local elementary school has 560 students. All 5 grades have the same number of students. How many students are in each grade? If we were to use cubes, we would first circle the key numbers. So we have 560 students, and they're in 5 grades. We then would underline the question, which is how many students are in each grade. We're going to box keywords. So we have each, we have same number. Each tells us that we're either going to multiply or divide. Well, then same number helps us figure out that we're actually going to divide. If we want to have the same number in each group, that means it's going to be a division problem. Now, when we are going to divide a 3-digit by 1-digit, we're going to follow the same rules as a 2-digit by 1-digit. So first, we're going to look at the hundreds. Instead, we looked at the tens before with the 2-digit. Now we're going to start with the hundreds. We're first going to divide how many 5 can we put into 5 groups. So if I have 5 groups and I have 5 hundreds, that means, remember the hundreds are the big flat blocks. I can put 1 in each group, which means I can put 1 in each group when I divide. Then I'm going to multiply. 1 times 5 is 5. I'm then going to subtract. 5 minus 5 is 0. We then need to check to make sure that when I subtracted that this number is smaller than my divisor. It is, so now I can bring down. I'm actually going to change my color so you know where I am when I'm dividing. Now I'm going to bring down the tens that I haven't divided out yet, which is 6 tens. So now I have 6 tens, and I'm dividing it between 5 groups. So if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that means I would have 1 left over. So if I was to divide 6 divided by 5, I could put 1 into each group. Now I'm going to multiply. 1 times 5, which is 5, and then I'm going to subtract. 6 minus 5 is 1. And then I'm going to check to make sure that when I subtracted, that number is smaller than my divisor. It is. So now I can bring down the ones that I have not divided out yet. There are 0 ones, but since I have 1 10 left over, that means I have 10 ones left to divide up in 5 groups. I'm going to change my color, make that a 0. So now I have 10 ones. So if I think about it, I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that means I can put 2 into each group if I have 5 groups. So 10 divided by 5 is 2. 2 times 5 is 10. I'm going to subtract 0, check to make sure that 0 is smaller than my divisor of 5. It is. I have nothing left to bring down. So my answer is to the question, how many students are in each grade? There would be 112 students. Let's solve the following problem in our notes. We need to first rewrite it with 624 divided by 6. So now it's a 3-digit number. We're still going to follow the same rules: divide, multiply, subtract, check, and bring down. So I'm going to be dividing up into 6 groups. I'm going to first look at my hundreds. I have 6 hundreds divided up into 6 groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which means I can put 100 into each group. So then I am going to multiply. 1 times 6, which is 6. Then going to subtract. 6 minus 6 is 0. I'm then going to check to make sure that my divisor is bigger than the number that I subtracted. It is. So now I can bring down. So now I'm going to bring down the 2 tens that I have not divided out yet. So now there are 2 tens divided into 6 groups. Well, I have a problem because I do not have enough tens to divide out. Because if I only have 2, I can only put them into 2 groups. That means how many, if I have 2 tens and I have 6 groups, how many tens can I put into each group? I can't put any into each group, 0. So then I'm going to multiply 0 times 6, which is 0. Subtract 2 minus 0 is 2. Then need to check to make sure that what I subtracted 2 is smaller than my divisor. It is. So now I can bring down the 4 ones that I have not subtracted out, or have not divided out yet. So now I have the 4 ones that I brought down plus the 2 tens that I haven't divided out yet because I didn't have enough, which means I have 24 ones to divide between 6 groups. So if I was to do the picture, I would keep going until I used up all of the 24, which if I would keep going, I would have 4 in each group. So if I have 24 ones divided into 6 groups, I would have 4 in each group. I would then do 4 times 6, which is 24. I would subtract, check to make sure that what I subtracted is smaller than my divisor. It is. I have nothing left to bring down, so my answer is 104. Let's try one more in our notes. So we have 268 divided into 2 groups. We're again going to follow the same rules: divide, multiply, subtract, check, bring down. So I'm going to be dividing up into 2 groups. I'm first going to start with the hundreds. So I have 2 hundreds divided into 2 groups, which means I have enough to put 1 into each group. Then I'm going to multiply. 1 times 2 is 2. Then I'm going to subtract. 2 minus 2 is 0. I'm going to check to make sure that what I subtracted is smaller than my divisor. It is. So now I can bring down the 6 tens that I have not divided out yet. So now I have 6 tens divided into 2 groups. So if I keep going, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, means I will have 3 tens in each group. So 3 times 2 is 6. I'm going to subtract. 6 minus 6 is 0. I'm going to check to make sure that this number that I subtracted is smaller than my divisor. It is. So now I can bring down the 8 ones that I have not yet divided out. So now I have 8 ones. I have no tens, so I'm just dealing with 8 ones divided into 2 groups. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. Then I'm going to multiply. 4 times 2 is 8. Then I'm going to subtract. 8 minus 8 is 0. Check to make sure that what I subtracted, 0, is smaller than my divisor. It is. So I have no remainder. So the answer to 268 divided by 2 is 134.